say that tonight I am going to fight like hell to beat these guys. But I'm hoping that come November, we'll all be working together. I've been mayor for the last 4 years. It's been an interesting time to be mayor. It took me 3 days to create a global recession. So I want a pay raise, because that kind of power really deserves better pay. But I will say that there's been a lot of important issues on the table, issues around economic development, about redevelopment of the waterfront, about protecting Lake Whatcom. And in some of those situations, I found myself at odds with other elected leaders in positions such as port commissioner or county executive. Now what's interesting is they've come up with a strategy of saying, I don't get along well with them, and so therefore they'd like to see somebody nicer come along and be mayor. Actually, when Dave stood up to run, I thought, you know, one of the ways to solve the problem of not getting along with the county executive is to get a county executive I could work with productively on the very important problems facing our community. So, and one of the ways to help deal with the problems with the port is to get folks there understanding that they need to change their thinking, that the thinking that the city is doing and that I'm trying to represent is the right thinking on these issues, that we're paying attention to the triple bottom line, we're paying attention to our environmental legacy, to our social justice legacy, and to the fiscal bottom line, all of which are being put at risk by other agencies' failure to pay attention to the broader needs and instead thinking about special interest needs. So what I'm telling people is, if I'm reelected and there's not a change in those offices, I will continue fighting those same fights, because my job is to protect Bellingham for the future generations that are going to follow. And so that means that I'm going to stand up and I'm going to say, we don't need a coal port in this community, or frankly, any other community. And I will fight as hard as I can to stop that. And right now, I can tell you that we've got a majority of mayors in this state representing, mayors representing a majority of the population of the state are with me on this issue. Tell you that I find it somewhat offensive and somewhat ironic, and humor is a good thing to have when you're in this line of work, that people are really, really offended that I made the sudden decision after 8 months of study to be against this proposal. And I have yet to hear any of those same people be offended by the cheerleaders I see in big pictures every day in the paper from Linden and Ferndale and from the Labor Council saying, isn't this wonderful, we should all embrace this, before we even know what the facts are of the project. So, you know, just in summation, I want to keep doing this job. I think it's an important time for me to be here. You know, I've managed to actually get us to a credit rating upgrade, as well as working on protecting the intrinsic values of our community. But I'd really love to have these folks all working with me starting in January of next year. So work with me to make that happen. Thank you. Hear much when I ring in because
really lean into it.
Okay, I gotta be.
Yeah, you gotta want it. You gotta want it.